Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at Walmart off of Lake Road in McKinney, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting that like button and hitting the subscribe button for daily 1-hour plant content, as well as adding me on Instagram. That's the fastest way to get in touch with me. But my plant foldies, and for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. I will be going to the McKinney location. There's actually several Walmarts in McKinney, but this particular one I typically like to go to because this one is known as one of the top Walmarts that are usually heavily stocked with plants. And you can see right here they have the shipper of some of these Costa Farms trending tropical plants and Costa Farms plants in general. I know they have a lot of their indoor plants outdoors, but you can see right here we've got some trending tropicals. These are all for $19.84. A gorgeous looking Monstera Peru. Now with Monstera Peru, it's one of those Monsteras that you definitely need to give it a lot of bright indirect light. It prefers to grow on a totem pole. It likes to grow up, which is the natural way for this Monstera to grow in the wild. And you can see right here we've got some Raven ZZs and some ZZ plants. I think they repurposed the shipper right here. They typically have like exotic angel starter plants, but they moved some of these Alocasia right here, like this gorgeous looking Alocasia pink dragon. This one is for $17.97. I really like that a lot. This one is another Alocasia that I ended up buying. This is by Growers Bench, which is the greenhouse or the nursery that is also known as Wild Interiors. They typically source for grocery stores and big box stores like Walmart. And then right over here, we've got a self-watering planter by Costa Farms. It's another Sansevieria or snake plant. Now those are all for $14.97. I like this Alocasia Silver Dragon, so I feature this a lot in my plant shopping videos, but this one is in a self-watering planter by Costa Farms for $19.84. And you already know I love me some aglaonemas, Aglaonema red Siam. Although this is a common aglaonema, it's an easy to care for plant. I just love going to this Walmart, even if the plants may not be as healthy looking. I like the fact that based on what you guys have given me, that my Walmarts out in North Dallas, which is where I'm based, that are typically stocked. Like I love looking at these flowering anthuriums right here. I grow all of my anthuriums in hydroponics, which is basically growing a plant in straight water versus putting it in some type of substrate. They do very well, and I actually prefer not just the blooms of the plant, but the actual foliage. That stark green, waxy, shiny leaf is just gorgeous. And then you can't go big box or plant shopping without looking at an Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. Highly recommend this. This is by Garden Expert for $10.97 in a hanging basket. All of these pothos though are sourced out by Costa Farms, and I will tell you, I just recently went to PlantCon 2024 in Houston at the NRG Convention Center this past weekend, and Costa Farms was in full force. I am so thankful that Costa Farms sources out so many different plants. Like look at this ponytail palm in a self-watering planter. This is for $14.97, but I am so thankful that Costa Farms readily makes plants available at an affordable price, and it's one of those things that I believe plants should be readily available for everybody. And now I'm going to walk out over here, and this is where I really want to focus a lot of my energy in, just because it is springtime and there are a lot of outdoor plants. So not only am I into indoor aeroids and houseplants, but I love outdoor gardening. I just feel like there's a lot of different type of content I can provide for you. So plant foldies, please let me know in the comments if you like the outdoor garden plants, because I will definitely be featuring those. And if you made it already this far, please make sure you are hitting that like button. But as you can see here, all of the Asiatic lilies, which are perennials, and perennials are basically plants that you can plant in your landscape. Basically, you just have to check your plant zone. But these plants typically will bloom, will grow, and then will die off in the winter, but will come back in the spring. So it's one of those plants that you don't necessarily have to replant every year. There are annuals, which you definitely have to plant every year, but the Asiatic lilies, the Kaya lilies, these plants will come back year after year. And you can see right here, Garden Expert, starter plants of tomato plants. I definitely want to grow some tomatoes in my backyard. I have a couple of beans and peas that I grew from seed that are actually growing up a trellis already. I keep promising an outdoor, indoor houseplant tour, but I'm just a little bit shy to show you my plant collection. And over here we got for $5.88 by Better Homes and Gardens. This is a gorgeous looking dahlia. I like the texture of the bloom. There's just a lot going on with that. And with dahlias, it's labeled as an annual, but I thought dahlias were perennials. So plant foldies watching this, please let me know if that is an actual perennials, if dahlias are perennials, or if they are annuals. So I would love to add those to my collection. I have been planting down lantanas because they grow very well in Texas weather. And over here, you know, I'm obsessed with coleus plants. These are by Garden Expert for $17.97. Very good value. And if you notice here, it's super full. Now, the trick with coleus is they can get a little bit leggy, but if you're constantly pinching it back and growing it like this, you can see that some of the stems may have broken off, but look at all of that dense growth. Really like that a lot. Now, I thought coleus plants can just go in full sun, but there's only certain varieties that can. They prefer to be in more shade, more bright and direct light, however, just because they will get better coloration. But that's one of the coleus I wanted to show you. And then over here, we've got another coleus. Now this one, I know it's a little bit dark just because I am plant shopping in the evening. This one has a gorgeous pink tone about it. And I love that, you know, as the light hits it, you can see different textures and different illumination on the leaves. Coleus plants are so easy and they're very easy to propagate. So I think that's the reason why I'm drawn to it, is because the potential to get free plants from coleus plants is amazing, and you can overwinter them. You can actually grow them indoors. They're a very versatile plant. You can make them in a full-blown like tree indoors. I've seen that as the coleus plant gets more mature, the stems get a little bit more woody, and putting these together, that is awesome. I have been going to local plant nurseries looking for coleus plants. I have about 12 varieties now, and my seeds have really sprouted and started taking off. Some of them are starting to show signs of color. I definitely want to do an update after about a month and a half to show you guys in the video. So I've been collecting footage. And that's the thing, if you like plant shopping videos, definitely hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification button. I've noticed that about 75% of my views based on my YouTube analytics are still from people that haven't subscribed to my channel. So I hope I can find some way to convince you, because I would love to see the plant foldy community grow. But as you can see here, lovely coleus plants. Now, plant foldies, you know I love that engagement. Leave as many comments as you can on this video. Let me know what you think about coleus plants and if you grow it. And you can see there's just a wide variety of flowering plants, annuals, marigolds right here. That is a classic flowering plant. That's actually a good companion plant for people growing vegetables. Marigolds really keep pests at bay. And you can see right here, we've just got so many hanging baskets and flowering plants. My opinion is Walmart definitely has some of the most cost-effective plants. Like, look at this coleus right here. This one is for $8.78. I've got this variety as well. Love the dark foliage on the leaves, as well as that very faint green border around the leaves. There's just so many textures on coleus plants. And again, there's this one particular person on YouTube. She's based out in Europe, where she literally has 4 to 5 feet coleus trees growing indoors. It is just fabulous. And over here, I'm going to pan over here. So I typically find Callia lilies as like floral plants that are typically found in the grocery store. But I want to pan over here and show you how gorgeous these white Callia lilies are. I do like Callia lilies leaves just because they have that speckling. And look at how vigorous the roots are. That's what you'd call a very healthy looking root system. You know, with roots, the white and thick the roots are, that means that there aren't any signs of root rot. So if you ever look at roots and they're dark and mushy, that's when you know you've either overwatered the plant or there's signs of root rot, and you've either got to repot it. I would suggest maybe putting a little bit of hydrogen peroxide in some water and watering it. That typically will help with root rot, but that would be for a separate plant care video. I just get excited. I don't know, plant foldies, if you guys notice that whenever I go plant shopping, I just like to ramble on and talk about my plants' opinions and just plant insights. So you'll have to bear with me. But if you enjoy me talking about plants for an hour, this is definitely the channel for you. And over here we have a Coreopsis plant for 974. Interesting looking bloom right here by Better Homes and Gardens. And again, the Better Homes and Garden line by Walmart is basically their more upscale garden plants. I love that a lot. I love the planters from Better Homes and Gardens. And you can see here we've got a foxtail fern right here for $8.77. I don't know a lot about foxtail ferns, but I've seen a lot of people growing them outdoors. So I'm curious to see what the plant care tips are. You know, that's the thing about doing a plant shopping video. Not only do I like to give you my opinions and plant care tips, and for those that have left comments and actually let me know that they've learned something from my videos, I really appreciate that. I utilize these videos to really connect people and make a good plant content, just because I feel like with our live premiere chats, and I've been seeing a lot of new faces on there. Thank you. So if this is your first time watching this video and you make it to a live premiere chat, typically I upload videos and premiere them live around 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, sometimes 8, sometimes it could be a little bit later. I've got a very demanding job and just stay busy, and it does take me a while to edit these videos, but if you're able to make a live premiere chat, don't be shy. We would love to see you, you know, text and let us know what you think about the plants. It's a really good community. And you can see here these New Guinea impatiens are gorgeous. What I like about the New Guinea impatiens is the leaves have like a red vein about it, and it's nice. And I gotta go pan over here. So Asiatic lilies come in so many varieties of colors, and this one right here, I am a sucker for pink plants, pink blooms. There's a certain level of elegance about pink plants, and you know, some people will say pink is really a feminine color. I disagree. I think pink is a universal color for everybody. And look at this right here, gorgeous looking pink Asiatic lilies, and I love the fact that they are starting to really bloom up. And then we've got some asparagus ferns right here for $8.77 by Garden Expert. Really like the texture of the leaves. I think this would really make a good like mixed planter, and I am definitely all about that. And then what else do we have going on over here? We've got some more Better Homes and Garden flowers. I'm going to pan over here. There just seems to be an ample amount of Callia lilies and Asiatic lilies. So all of these lilies that I'm featuring, like these Callia lilies right here, can be planted in the ground. Now double check your growing zone. I don't know exactly which ones would make it more perennials, but wouldn't it be nice to just have so many lilies in your landscape and just to see them grow year after year? Love that flaming red bloom on it. And then I also like the fact that Asiatic lilies have very dense and tight foliage. Look at that yellow one over here. And you know, I really do believe that yellow is a color of joy. It really does bring a lot of joy to just look at flowers, and look at that interesting one, dark foliage bloom with that speckle of orange. It kind of reminds me of like a Halloween type bloom, but that is the beauty of plants. Would you guys agree that just the diversity of plants? I know that some of us might just be into like rare aroids, and for those that haven't checked out my video, I did do a 1 hour plus special on the PlantCon 2024 video, so please definitely check that out. I premiered that the other day. And you can see here we've got a Euphorbia rainbow ascot for $9.74. So this is another perennial. I love the variegation on it, and this one looks to have like really nice variegation when given a lot of bright light. This would be another plant that would be interesting to try to grow indoors. I have been like experimenting and thinking about taking certain plants that are really meant to grow outdoors, indoors. I think when you take a plant that's really meant to grow outdoors, and we'll use this as an example, we can take a caladium, for instance. If you grow a caladium indoors, you have to really give it a little bit more care and light, just because number one, caladiums will go dormant, so you definitely need to grow it under a grow light. And number two, the heat. You know, with plants like caladiums or oxalis that do go dormant, you want to make sure that you're mimicking those outdoor conditions. But for this one right here, this Euphorbia rainbow ascot, look at this one. I haven't ever seen it in bloom, but this one actually is in bloom. And now when you think about plants that are in bloom, a couple of factors will give you, you know, joy when a plant is in bloom. Number one, the growing condition of the plant is great because it's actually thinking that it can reproduce. And then number two, the plant is in a happy state where like the roots are established. The only thing about blooms on a plant, especially for a tropical indoor plant, you really want to snap off the blooms, because there's more energy invested in the bloom versus growing the foliage. I've featured this plant before, this columbine flower. Love it a lot. Didn't realize that it takes an entire year for a growing season for it to start to bloom. So I thought about doing, growing these from seed, but instead I wanted to go ahead and buy these. I love the fact that these blooms have a very unique structure about it. They remind me of origami. And then for those that are, new to the channel, this YouTube video channel was actually originally an origami ASMR channel. I have this goal of folding 1 million origami paper cranes in my lifetime. I've actually been folding paper cranes daily for about 7 to 8 years. I've lost track, but I do that on a daily basis. And sometimes I create blisters on my hands because I fold so many origami paper cranes. Anyways, onto plants again. Sometimes I'll end up rambling, but you can see here what gorgeous looking plants that they have. There are lots of flowering plants for sure. Now this is an interesting plant find. This is an Alocasia for $5.84 by Island Bloom. So when I was out in North Houston, the actual Walmart had a rows and rows of Alocasia like this for $5.84, which is an amazing price. I've noticed that Walmart's out in North Dallas never really showed these Alocasias. I really like that a lot. And while this might just be a typical Alocasia, I saw a lot of variegated Alocasias at PlantCon 2024. I just like that green foliage as well. It's a classic look. Now with Alocasias, they can be a little bit more finicky. Truthfully, if you grow Alocasias outdoors, they are less susceptible to spider mites. They have just better growing conditions. And you can see here, we've got some gorgeous looking flowering plants. This one's an interesting one by Better Homes and Gardens for $5.88. And then I am going to be panning over to the pink Callia lilies. What delicate, elegant looking blooms for these Callia lilies. And again, with Callia lilies, they are perennials, so you can plant them in your landscape. You just have to double check your growing zone. So my growing zone is zone B, 9B. So, whenever I go plant shopping, and that's the thing, you want to do your research on your growing zone. So that way you can provide the right growing conditions or see if a plant is right for you. Some growing conditions or zones will allow a plant to be more perennial, but some zones will actually not have perennials be perennials. They end up being more annuals because of the plant growing zone. That's what I was trying to say. And these ones right here are for by Garden Expert. So Garden Expert is more of the more cost-effective plants that you can find at Walmart. What gorgeous looking Callia lilies that they have here. And we're just going to pan over and look at some more flowers and plants. this is what I love about just looking at all of the plants that this Walmart offers, because to give this Walmart credit, they go through so much volume, and it seems like every time I visit, they have shelves of more restock plants. I mean, if you wanted to grow tomatoes, sometimes I feel like just getting one tomato for $1.97, you know, 2 or 3 tomato plants would be enough to get them started. And I will tell you, if you grow plant like tomatoes or vegetables at home, you can control what kind of fertilizers you give it. You don't have to worry about pesticides. And I just feel like tomato plants, vegetables grown at home are the freshest, most tasty type of vegetables. So I am excited to be growing them. Now with tomatoes, when you grow them from a starter like that, you actually want to bury a lot of the stem because you'll get more growth out of it. So that's just a little trick with tomato plants. Obviously you want to get a tomato cage, but you know, you've got the Garden Expert and also the Bonnie plants. So these Bonnie plants right here, they have more tomato cultivars. So if there's a specific tomato you want, I will say Bonnie plants have it. They're a little bit more expensive as compared to the Garden Expert ones, but then at least you can see which one you want. Like they have Roma tomatoes, Big Boy tomatoes, Celebrity tomatoes. So there's just different varieties. I did want to pan over here and just show you all of the different types of peppers they have available. One pepper I want to grow is called the hot banana pepper. So in the Philippines, which is where my family is from, we use a lot of hot banana peppers for our cooking. There's a specific Filipino dish called sinigang, which is basically a sour soup that we use it, and I absolutely love cooking that. I like to share little tidbits about the Philippines just because, number one, I am a proud Filipino American, and number two, I just feel like, you know, these plant shopping videos, you get to know me just a little bit more versus just being a faceless voice talking about plants for an hour. So plant foldies, feel free to ask me questions during the live premiere chat or leave in the comments. I want to get to know you guys. I want to try to get our plant community to grow. And you can see here so many different plants. It's just so exciting. Sometimes I just go to like a Walmart or a big box store just for that window plant shopping therapy. And over here, we've got some wax begonias. I bought like I think a 6-pack or 4-pack from this particular Walmart, and I have yet to plant my wax begonias in a bigger planter. I will say that it's still growing in its small, you know, starter plant environment, but that is a gorgeous one. I really like that satin look on the plant. And what I like about wax begonias are they are very versatile in their lighting conditions. They can thrive in lower light conditions like shade, but also can go into full sun. So what an awesome plant. And then over here, I've said this in so many of my plant shopping videos, petunias are the flower of the hour. When I say that petunias, for some reason, have just had so many different varieties. I love the Better Homes and Gardens Containers Made Easy collection. This one's for $24.97, but you've got a mix of different types of petunias in one planter. You can literally just find another planter, typically one that's maybe 2 more inches larger in diameter, and drop this pot in there, and voila, you've got a container plant. Very good plant, especially if you have just full sun. Petunias love sun. And the thing about petunias is they have gorgeous blooms, very vigorous growers in terms of blooms, but you want to make sure you're deadheading your petunias. So what that means is if the flowers are starting to die off, you want to trim off those flowers so the petunia continues to think that it needs to produce more blooms. It can be somewhat tedious, but if you stay on top of it, you will have gorgeous blooms like this all summer long, and I am loving it. There's some interesting petunia hybrids. Like there's some that I saw were just straight black flowers, and that's just amazing. And then you can't go to Walmart without me featuring some more coleus plants. These ones have more of a copper bronze look. These are for $6.97 by Garden Expert. So you can notice that the Garden Expert coleus plants are a little bit more cost effective versus the Better Homes and Gardens. I like collecting all of them, so I've got all of these varieties as well. I want to start propagating them, and what I notice about coleus plants is it is not I would say it's an easy to care for plant, but it does require work, if that makes sense. As in, if you let a coleus plant dry out completely, that is not a good thing. Coleus plants are very thirsty plants. So you literally have to water coleus plants every single day. When it starts to get like 100 degrees, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to at least water them twice a day, if not 3 times a day, since I live out in North Dallas. And I'm telling you guys, The weather here is just brutal, but you know what? You get used to it. I mean, I have a bunch of Japanese maples that are growing in my backyard, and they've been able to, tolerate a lot of that heat, but that goes to show again, you have to look at your plant conditions. And I know I talk a lot about indoor plant care, but I do want to talk about this outdoor plant care. So plant folies, let me know what you think. Do you guys grow outdoor gardens? Because like, look at this fuchsia wind chimes is so gorgeous. I love that weeping cascading look about the flowers, and this one has a nice purple tone about it. This one is for $5.88. This one needs partial shade, and so for some places, this could be more of an evergreen plant versus like an annual. I know that in my zone, it would be more of an annual plant. And you can see right here, more petunias. These are the Amore petunia hybrids. As you can see that these petunias come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. And look at this one. I just love that candy cane, that striping petunia color. And if you pan over here, we've got some more Better Homes and Gardens petunias. Now these are for $3.54. The blooms here are a little bit smaller, but I did want to pan over here. What a gorgeous wax begonia. Again, it says, I'm kind of a big deal. Yes, you are, for $8.97. It would be interesting to see if I could grow these begonias indoors long term. So I did have a viewer and subscriber mention that any plant can be grown indoors. I would agree with that, but I just feel like sometimes some plants are really meant to be grown outdoors just because of the amount of effort it would take to grow something indoors. Like, for instance, if you wanted to grow a petunia indoors, that would literally have to sit in front of a grow light all day. And even then, that would be a challenge because sun-loving, direct sunlight plants are really meant to be outside. These ones are $8.97. I do like this petunia, and this one is a petunia that's meant to spread and crawl. So I like that a lot. It would definitely make a great ground cover for it to just spread across a flower bed. I don't have flower beds in my collection, so it'd be one of those types of plants that I would grow annually in a nice planter. I'm just so happy to have finally got back into plants because about 3 to 4 years ago, I actually was heavily into plants, before the pandemic in 2020. I've always been into plants as a child. My grandmother actually got me into plants in general, but I was really into plants. And what I noticed is, and I don't know if you plant folies fall into the same category. When you start picking up plants and you go plant shopping, you buy one plant and then like 2 or 3 weeks later, you have like 200 plants indoors. It becomes very, very tedious, overwhelming, stressful to just maintain plants. So I am just glad that I've come over with a moderate pace. I've caught myself actually neglecting some of my plants because I just didn't have enough time to water and give them the same care conditions. So just making sure that you're taking a pulse to make sure that while we love plants, while we admire plants, sometimes it's not fair to the plant for us to just continue to collect them if we don't have the amount of time, the amount of space, the lighting conditions to really make a plant thrive. I think that's what makes people stressed and get burned out with plants. I know that some of you guys were a little bit concerned that I would burn myself out doing YouTube videos. I do appreciate the concern. But I will tell you, when I can't produce a video, I'll either take a weekend off and then just recharge. I do try to make my efforts to give you guys plant shopping videos daily because for me, it's plant therapy, just to be able to talk about plants for an hour and also just message and chat with you guys on the live premiere chats. It's really awesome. And you can see here, $5.88 by Better Homes and Gardens, those lantana. I planted about 13, 14 lantana in my landscape. I was told that they can do very well in full sun, drought tolerant, mounding, and they give us lots of blooms in this Texas hot weather. So we're going to see. But I also wanted to show you these. So these are Calambrichoa. I think that's how you pronounce it. These are some more containers made easy. This one is for $11.97. So Calambrichoa kind of remind me of more miniature or smaller versions of petunias. Look at that that bloom right there. There's a lot of different colors going around, and these are hot colors in the color spectrum, brighter colors, those oranges and yellows, and then right next to those hydrangeas. I would love to grow hydrangeas, but they're just a little bit more challenging to grow in Texas, at least with the weather we have. And then look at this. This is a larger version of a fuchsia plant. This one is an Artis upright barry. Love that a lot. This is by Better Homes and Gardens. Again, you can see that these blooms are a little bit larger. I love that they're cascading in almost like bells, like wind chimes, as they are seen. Gorgeous looking color for it. These ones, these fuchsia plants, require more partial shade. They don't like to be in full sun, so just keep that in mind when you are planting this outdoors. I would say they prefer to be in planters that are a little bit more manageable in that. And I like how this Walmart also has big signs that give you the plant pricing. And you can see even here, this petunia right here is for $5.97 by Wave Petunias. So Wave Petunias has some of their own little line of hybrids. I would like to do a specific petunia feature at some point, but I would say out of all the petunias I've seen at Walmart, this has to be my favorite because I love that lavender delicate look about it. This is by Better Homes and Gardens for $5.88. What do you guys think about this? Look at that purple. Look at how it's got a pastel. There's a little bit more texture and just something different about the coloration of this particular petunia. I also like the fact that this one doesn't look like it would get very leggy. It's very compact in its growth. And that's the beauty of, hybridizing plants. You get so much biodiversity when it comes to it. And I'm curious to see what other plants we will see in the next 10 years. Botany and just these botanists and these plant experts are really producing some amazing plants. I think they're taking the best characteristics genetically for plants. Who knows, some plants like maybe some Japanese maples will eventually be able to just grow in full sun in 100-degree weather. I've noticed that a lot of these hybrids are just constantly improving, and that could be said about coleus plants. So like these coleus plants right here, these are by Better Home and Garden. These ones are for $8.78. Love the color of this. But for instance, this one would need to be more in partial shade, more bright and direct light versus staying out in full sun. But I've seen coleus plants that can take full sun, as in just like all day, and will not burn. Now, granted, coleus plants are very thirsty plants, so that's the only drawback with them, is you literally have to water them every day. And I'm surprised I'm actually taking more coleus plants in my collection because I don't have the best watering regimen when it comes to my plants. But growing them outdoors, I can literally take my hose and just spray them down. I think it makes it easier that way versus when you're actually watering plants indoors. You got to actually take the time to like water them, let them drain, make sure that they drain completely so there's not water soaking. But when you're growing plants like coleus plants outdoors, it is a little bit easier to maintain. But again, for those that follow my YouTube videos, thank you for always tuning in. I did miss having a live premiere this past weekend. Again, I was at PlantCon, but I love showing you specific plants because I know that this is my venue to really just share what my plant interests are, and currently it is coleus plants. So I do have plant obsessions. I love my aglaonemas. They have been slightly tricky, but I still love them. They're still my number one plant to grow. But coleus plants, when it comes to like an indoor-outdoor type plant, this is definitely one that I would do. Like I bought this coleus campfire for $5.88. And what I love about this one is the leaves actually get larger. I've been giving it a little bit more sun than my other coleus plants, and it's doing very well. I am thinking about cutting a bunch of these up once they grow another 3 to 4 inches and propagating some more. So we're going to definitely look at that. But some of these coleus I intend to make into a full-blown indoor coleus tree where the wood, the stems get a little bit woody. And then I'm going to pan over here and just show you some more plants. You can see that this is a large garden center, and look at all of these. So these are canna lilies. Again, these lilies are perennials as well. They remind me of banana plants, but look at the blooms on this one. This definitely gives me more of a tropical vibe when it comes to the plants. And you can see the gorgeous yellow lantanas right here. I am hoping that my lantana will really spread and mount and give me some gorgeous looking blooms throughout the summer. I just like the fact that it is more drought tolerant because again, in North Dallas, our summers are very brutal, and 100-degree weather is just not going to do very well for some plants that can't tolerate those very hot temperatures for sure. And you can see here we've got some more canna lilies. These are all perennials in a mixed planter. I really love that Better Homes and Gardens has really produced some mixed planters. And when you go to Walmart and you go plant shopping, you definitely will get more cost-effective plants. I think when you shop at Walmart, some people have some disagreements when it comes to shopping at big box stores for plants. I just really think you get the most sales when it comes to plant shopping. And you can see right over here, this is some more kalanchoe. I will tell you, I literally see a kalanchoe daily because I'm in a big box store pretty much every day. $4.97 for this one. And look at these pink blooms here. These kalanchoe are succulents, although this one is more of a vigorous bloomer. This one would require a lot of light. Full sun would definitely work well for this one. And you can see right here, Proven Winners. So Proven Winners also has its hybrid. So these are the Supertunia. This is a Supertunia Vista right here. So, Proven Winners is another plant nursery that sources out some amazing hybrids. I think the one I really like is the Fittonia hybrid that they have. It's a different type of Fittonia that I saw at a local plant nursery. But as you can see, this Walmart has gotten more shelves of different plants. I mean, there are certain plants here that haven't even been unwrapped. I talked about getting a hanging basket of petunias. This might be it right here. I just can't get it out. I really wanted to see the price, but I'm not going to mess with it. I'm already bad. It's bad already when I see like boxes that haven't been unboxed yet at big box stores. Sometimes I'll peep and see what they have. I will tell you, a plant foldie by the name of Marlon. And Marlon, thank you for always sending me direct messages about Monstera Thai constellations. Apparently over the weekend, there were 2 lows that had huge Monstera Thai constellations for $150. So you better believe that I will be doing some plant shopping today. I'm hoping to go to several big box stores to check out and see if I can find the elusive Monstera Thai constellations at Walmart or Lowe's. The sad part is a lot of these people that are buying these Thai constellations are reselling. Totally get it if you want to run a business, but there's a lot of people here who literally want to just get these plants because for the longest times, Monstera Thai constellations have been more of a challenge to get because of the pricing. So, be mindful if you're going to buy plants. If you already have them, give somebody else a chance. Some people will say, well, I bought a bunch of Monstera Thai constellations. The thing about it is I only bought 3, and then there's one that I actually wanted to give out as a plant giveaway on Instagram. And again, for those that are not following me on Instagram, please follow me at Growfolds. I will announce when I am going to send out a Monstera Thai constellation I got from Kroger, but you can see here, those details will be soon. I'm just trying to catch up and get my life together, and this is my only critique. And some people have kind of like given me some criticism when I talk about this particular Walmart, but this is just my opinion. I just wish that the plant merchandising for these tropical plants were a little bit better, like maybe just sourcing them, staging them to where they're striped and all of the plants are the same type of plant, just because this looks like one jumbled mess. I will say you'll get beautiful plants like this anthurium I have been seeing for a while. It's been enticing me to buy it, and it is for only $14.97, so it's not a bad price for an anthurium. I like it because it has that dark foliage leaves, but again, if these plants were a little bit more organized, I feel like you'd be more inspired to pick up plants and actually buy them. This is a very stocked location of plants. I'm surprised that these plants are growing outside. I'm sure that they get enough shade though. My only concern is during the day, are they getting blasted with a bunch of sun? Not 100% sure. I haven't been here in a while. And you can see here they've got an array of like calatheas, trending tropical, Costa Farms plant. All of the trending tropicals at Walmart are for $19.84. Not a bad price at all. And you can see right here we've got a rare plant find, or at least I would say it's not as common to see, but this chameleon ZZ plant for $19.84. Now to get that chameleon minty variegation, you definitely want to give it a lot more bright and direct light. I did buy one of these from this location. I discovered it a little couple weeks back. Mine is doing well, and I will recommend any type of ZZ plants. Oh my gosh, they are so easy to grow, very low light tolerant. They can also tolerate not being watered as often. So it's a good plant to start for anybody that is getting into indoor house plants. And here's a Monstera Adansonia wide leaf form. Like this a lot. Now with Monstera Adansonia, these prefer to grow up a totem pole. That's where you'll get the best growth and just bigger leaves versus growing them in a hanging basket. Some people will do that, and you can't go to a big box store without looking at a bromeliad, and I love bromeliads. Like, look at this one right here. Just the striping and the variegation is absolutely stunning. So, you know, lots of plants to take a look at it. You know, they've got some varieties of plants. They've got money trees here, ZZ plants. I love looking at this alocasia right here. This is an alocasia Ninja or Black Velvet, not 100% sure, but this one's for $17.97. This is by Growers Bench. Love the fact that Growers Bench has actually sourced out some more rare or uncommon plants. I have been looking for the Growers Bench Monstera Thai Constellation. They have yet to really hit the North Dallas, Fort Worth area, but if I find it, I will definitely get that on film. And I am literally in a Walmart, a Home Depot, a Lowe's daily. So if you live in North Dallas or the Dallas-Fort Worth area and haven't subscribed to my channel, I urge you guys to do so, because you'll be one of the first ones to really get a glimpse of what plants are available in our market. And plus, it's always fun to just kind of engage with you guys. Like this Raven ZZ right here, I did get one for $7 on clearance. So sometimes they will knock this price down, and it is doing absolutely amazing for me. Some people say that Raven ZZ is actually a slower growing plant. I didn't find that, especially when you give it a little bit more light. And that's the thing about growing plants that are, quote, low light tolerant. They can tolerate lower light conditions. They just won't grow as fast. But if you give any plant some bright and direct light, they will actually speed up their growth. So I just want to pan over here and show you what they have here. And you can see right here the classic Monstera Deliciosas by Garden Expert. Really good price for it. I believe it's for $19.84. I don't really have any more large form Monstera Deliciosas. For the longest time, about 3 to 4 years ago, I used to just propagate them, and I just had a propagation addiction. I did chop up my Philodendron Red Emerald today. It's a very easy to grow plant, very vigorous. So I'm hoping that I can get a bunch of cuttings and actually get them to grow up that totem pole just to make my plant full. And I'm just going to pan over here and show you some more plants. That's the thing I like about this Walmart. Again, you know, Garden Expert has so many plants for the outdoors. This particularly is heavily influenced with the outdoor plants. I like showcasing that because why not, right? You know, there's different types of plants you can grow. I can tell you that there's so many Boston ferns available. It's kind of crazy how Boston ferns are available, but I did have somebody leave in the comments that this is the season where Boston ferns are actually pushed out, as well as Croton petras and also Alocasia californias. These are all for $16.97. These are sourced out from Florida, and I love that a lot. These are what you would call your tropical outdoor landscaping plants. I do love the look of that particular Alocasia, and you can see we have some black diamond crepe myrtles. Crepe myrtles do very well in hot weather, so they are all over McKinney, Texas. That McKinney, Texas is actually considered the crepe myrtle capital of the world. So I think that's super cool. And then we have here some cordyline Hawaiian tea plants. The one I bought for $5.84 at Walmart has now been transplanted in a 10-inch planter. I know I went several sizes up, but it is growing outdoors, so the soil actually won't remain too moist because it'll dry out a little bit faster. I'm hoping to get it to size up quickly, and I am growing that cordyline plant in full sun to get that beautiful neon pink look. And you can see right there we've got some more Alocasias, but you can see here, gotta love these cordyline tea plants. It's another plant that is a little bit more challenging to grow indoors because they are more spider mite prone. And then we've got some coral bell plants right here. Love that purple gray look about it. It kind of reminds me of a gothic garden or a gothic plant collection. It has that vibe about it, and it's super cool. And then, you know, right over here we've got a bunch of hibiscus plants. So my family's from the Philippines, and in the Philippines we call it gomamela. So hibiscus plants, do very well in tropical conditions. Unfortunately, I can't grow these in my landscape because in the winter, they just don't survive the really cold frost weather. But if you plant hibiscus or want to at least grow them in the North Dallas area, I would suggest growing them in planters so it'd be easy to actually overwinter them, perhaps put them in a garage under a grow light. That's what I typically do, and they do well. I got a variegated hibiscus called Hibiscus Salsa Dancer, and it has some amazing foliage. The foliage itself is just enough. I don't even need the blooms. And you can see this Walmart, it just has tons and tons of plants. So one plant that I do see often, these are by Island Bloom by Costa Farms for $5.80 for these Mandevilla flowers. They've got different varieties. I haven't seen the yellow canary pastel looking ones. What a gorgeous looking flower. It definitely gives you that tropical vibe about it. I would be curious to see if you can actually grow these indoors long term. Plant foldies, leave in the comment if you can. And if you made it this far into the video and haven't hit the like button, please make sure you are hitting that like button for me, because it definitely helps my channel's engagement. It'll push out that content to more people. But I did want to pan over this cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. Again, these have really started to get larger as compared to when I first saw them about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, arrive at different Walmarts out in the North Dallas area. So the second location I'm going to go to is a Kroger. So I like going grocery store plant shopping because there is a chance of saving money. So this one is a Kroger off of El Dorado in McKinney, Texas. So this one I like to go to at night because there's not a lot of people that shop at it. And with Kroger, they had an influx of Monstera Thai constellations for $29.99. We'll see if they actually have some, but it's surprising that when you walk into a Kroger, and I love going at night just because there's really nobody around and I can freely film. The things I will always admire at Kroger would be indoor azaleas or Azalea Simsii. So these are all in 4.5-inch planters for $9.99. And I love it because look at the different types of blooms. So azaleas are a plant that I love. It's a flowering plant. You can see right here, we've got a white variety here for $9.99. And the only thing I learned about growing indoor azaleas is, number one, they prefer lower cooler temperatures, so you need to keep it between 65 to 70 degrees in your home if you're going to grow them. And number two, which is the most important, is never ever let the Azalea Simsii or indoor azaleas dry out completely. It is not good for the roots. The roots for azaleas are super fine, and so if you're going to grow them, you need to make sure you stay on top of the watering. Obviously, you don't want to like overwater them to where their roots are always staying in water, but they prefer to keep their roots moist. Otherwise, their leaves will start to crisp up and drop, especially if they're in full bloom, because azaleas require a lot of energy to produce these blooms. And so that's just my take back on it. But I love the different colors. Like this one right here is a gorgeous peach look about it. And azaleas, I hope that I'll be able to grow them successfully outdoors. I was able to successfully grow 2 Satsuki azaleas in my landscape right next to my Japanese maples. So we're going to try Encore azaleas. So I planted one in the ground underneath my Shantung maple. So we'll see if it'll actually take. And here we've got some kalanchoes. Again, kalanchoes are everywhere. They're at a big box store, grocery store, wherever there are plants or wherever there is a plant being sold, you will see a kalanchoe. Again, that is considered a very profuse succulent plant that just has blooms. And then what a gorgeous looking hyacinth right here. Love hyacinths. They smell so fragrant, and hyacinths are bulbous plants, so they're perennials and will grow back year after year. The same thing with tulips. I'm surprised that we still have quite a bit of hyacinths that are blooming, and it's nice to see them. You can see them at big box stores, but typically at a grocery store like Kroger. So I recommend Kroger because Kroger does have some really good plant pricing. Again, you can save money shopping at Kroger. Like this right here is a Pachira aquatica again, or a money tree plant. Like that a lot. I do like the planter. I'm not a big fan of the top dressing of fake moss though. I feel like that just kind of invites pests like fungus gnats, because if you water from the top, that the top area stays a little bit more moist for my liking. I typically like to water my indoor plants from the bottom. So like taking a saucer, filling it up with water and sticking the plant and just letting it soak up in osmosis is a good way to, to water your plants, which actually takes a little bit more time as well. You can see right here, we've got some bamboo, and I saw this at the Great Outdoors, which is a really amazing plant nursery out in Austin, Texas. These lucky bean plants are so cool. They kind of look like coffee plants, but look at that bean structure right there at the very bottom. So that is the lucky bean plant. I don't know a lot about it. What I do know is that it does get very large. You could probably grow this like an indoor tree. It is another gorgeous looking plant. And this is another plant that I would say, regardless of whether it has variegation or not, the texture of the leaves, the greenery on the leaves is enough to really want to put that in a plant collection. And you can see right here a 6-inch planter for Azalea Simcii for $19.99. And we have some burpee seeds here. I have a ton that I could plant in my garden. I do want to have some raised beds made by my brother-in-law, so we're going to see about that. And then here are the assorted plants by Mason Farms, which is what sources out these plants. This one is a Dieffenbachia for $13.99. I really like the variegation on it. High variegation Dieffenbachia are just challenging in a sense that they just require a little bit more light than say an Aglaonema. They kind of look similar. I do love the variegation on this one. I'm not sure what particular variety this is because the stems are actually white and variegated. I like that. And who would have thought you'd find Rhaphidophora tetrasperma at a grocery store? What a nice looking plant. It's also considered a mini monstera, even though it is not a monstera in the monstera family. I like this a lot. Now this particular one really wants to grow up a totem pole, a moss pole. Its natural growth pattern is to grow up right, and it's another one that I like. I want to get a variegated one. Now this 6-inch planter is for $19.99. I do think that is a little bit pricey though. The Mason Farm plants that are being sold for in 6-inch planters for $19.99 I feel like is a little bit more pricey. Now if you end up finding the ones in a 4.5-inch planter, those for $9.99, that is a really good deal. And again, Dracaena lemon lime, underrated plant. You already know the deal if you watch my plant videos. You definitely want to add a Dracaena in your plant collection because they're so easy to take care of. And then we have a bunch of Peperomia picolos right here. What a gorgeous looking piccolo here. It's another plant that I would recommend watering from the bottom. This one's for $13.99. That's not a bad price at all. And it is a gorgeous looking plant. Look at that foliage on the leaves. And you can find Peperomias, even really cool Hoyas at Kroger. I've seen a lot of people starting to go into Kroger's, not necessarily for your grocery, but to go plant shopping. I know when I go to Kroger, the first place I like to go to is the plant section because they've got some really good plants for a very inexpensive price. Like look at this spider plant right here. Another plant that is easy to grow. Spider plants do become a little bit finicky if you don't water them with like good water. When I say good water, I would say don't water your spider plants with tap water. Sometimes the edges of the leaves or the tips of the leaves tend to be a little bit more brown. So, you know, that's just my thing. And then you guys have been waiting for this. It's the Hedera Helix, or what you would call the Hedera Helix, which is the correct way to say it. Now, for those watching my video for the first time, I say Hedera Helix because for some reason, you plant folies like me saying that, even though I am saying it incorrectly. Now, Hedera Helix or English ivy are a challenging plant. And what makes them challenging is when you grow them indoors, they're just really spider mite magnets. Here's a really cool Peperomia Frost for $9.99. I don't really see this one. Now this Peperomia looks to be like it needs a little bit of water. You can see that some of the leaves are a little bit droopy, so hopefully somebody at Kroger will water these plants. I will say most grocery store plants are typically healthy. I never see them really be underwater. They typically take care of the plants, and you can see right here this aluminum plant, or this Palea Caderi, I think that's how you pronounce it, for $9.99. One of my favorite looking plants because I love that aluminum metallic look about the plants. Easy to care for plant. This plant does much better though if you give it a little bit more humidity. What a gorgeous looking plant here. And again, all of these plants are sourced out by Mason Farms. So plant foldies, let me know since you've been watching my videos if you've visited some Kroger plants and if you've been collecting them. I like buying plants from Kroger. I've gotten some really good plants, especially Hoyas from Kroger. And you can see right here, this is another Hedera Helix. or English ivy gold baby coin. I have this particular ivy, and surprisingly, after a month and a half, 2 months in my care, it is still growing. There are no spider mites, and I think it's because I'm giving it good lighting conditions. I don't overwater it. I spray it with a preventative DIY neem oil spray weekly, and there is a humidifier that is blasting humidity around it. So if that's what it takes to grow this beautiful plant, I will do it. And I'm glad, because before that, I've killed 12 English ivies in my care. So lucky number 13 and 14 are doing very well for me. Here is a Monstera adansonii wide form. I like that a lot. This one, again, is for $19.99. This is a little pricey for me. I feel like you can find more cost-effective Monstera adansonii, like say at a big box store like Walmart. And that's the thing, again, whenever you go plant shopping, you want to compare prices, and I try my best to give you guys plant pricing because it's easier for you guys to compare and contrast. Gorgeous looking China doll plant here for $19.99. It is in a 6-inch planter. I love the China doll plant because it's got some really shiny leaves. The only thing I've discovered about China doll plant is it is a thirsty plant. It does need to be watered. Otherwise, if you don't, the leaves will quickly decline in health. I caught myself almost killing it because I underwatered it, but it's doing very well. So like for me, I need to at least water this every week or twice a week for it to just really maintain its growth. And then right over here, Ficus lyrata, love the fiddle fig leaf. People say that this is a finicky plant. For some reason, it has not been finicky for me. Again, I found mine for 99 cents at another grocery store called Sprouts. So I have really just been more consistent about it. And what I mean about consistent is giving it consistent lighting conditions. So when you take a fiddle fig leaf or Ficus lyrata, find a spot that gets a lot of bright light. Don't move it because they don't like to be moved. They will start to drop their leaves when they are unhappy. And then over here, I love this, and I think Kroger has some amazing Peperomia obtusifolia marbles. Like, look at how highly variegated this is. And this one is for $9.99. Not a bad price at all, especially for a very variegated plant like this. And this one, actually, the variegation is more influenced by the amount of light you give it. The less light you give it, the more green on green variegation. But look at that. Look at that cream variegation. It is absolutely stunning. This is another plant I should buy at Kroger. I talk about getting one all the time because I always run into these highly variegated ones. Mason Farms Nursery, which is located out in New Mexico, has some really nice plants, and you can see this one right here has less light or didn't get as much light. For $9.99, you can see that there is a huge difference in its variegation. So some people might actually like more on the green on green variegation or that super cream white variegation. I like both plants. Again, it's, you know, your personal taste and aesthetic. I do love all plants in general, outdoor plants, indoor plants, and I just like showing you plants like this. This Peperomia raisinette for $9.99. I definitely want to add this one as well because I do like dark foliage plants. Now, plant foldies, I like to show you guys plant shopping videos to try to save you guys some money, giving you different types of pricing, so that way we stay up to date on what plant is cost effective. So Kroger definitely has some good plants. Walmart has some good plants. You can see here, they've got a variety of Ficus lyratas. Like this one right here is for $13.99. Not a bad price at all, but I would say go to Walmart or Home Depot, just because if you wanted to get a larger one for $19.99, you'll get a much larger Ficus lyrata. And then over here, this is an interesting plant. Find string of pearls for $13.99. So this is a succulent plant. You don't want to overwater it. Give it a lot of bright light and it will do very well for you. I don't really have any string of anything. If I am going to get a string of something, it would be a variegated string of hearts. I really like the look of it. But string of pearls too, they remind me of pearls, and pearls are very abundant in the Philippines. That is one of the national jewels of the Philippines. And again, being Filipino, you know, I like to throw that, you know, tidbit in there. And I find this interesting. So I haven't seen a lot of syngoniums out in Kroger. This one is for $13.99. This is a syngonium neon pink. I like that a lot. Love pink plants as well. Syngoniums are easy. They do require a little bit more bright indirect light, more so than I thought. Otherwise, they get a little bit leggy. Nice looking syngonium neon pink. and I wanted to show you this. So for those who love Hoyas, here is a Hoya carnosa, Crimson Queen for $13.99. Now with Hoyas, the more light you give it, you can sun stress it and really get some nice coloration, some really, you know, dark pinks, blacks even, and you know, I just love that a lot. And I am so excited to be able to see my Hoyas in hanging baskets bloom someday. These are Crusala or jade plants. I know some of you plant foldies have asked and requested to show some more jade plants. This one is for $13.99, and you know, it's funny because when you pan out, this Kroger just has like a full table, but this full table has so many plants. It covers so many different varieties. Like zebra plant right here, this one is for $13.99. I like the look of a zebra plant, but for some reason I have never been enticed to actually pick up a zebra plant and buy it. I will show you guys that in my plant shopping videos. Let me know what you think about zebra plants. Like, I like them, but I don't like them enough to go into my home, if that makes any sense. But lots of beautiful plants over here. And then, you know, it is a grocery store. You're going to see a lot of Phalaenopsis orchids here as well. I did find some variegated Phalaenopsis orchids. I'm in the look for it again, just because I have a plant foldy, Pete, who wants to do a trade for a variegated orchid and a purple oxalis plant for a philodendron gabby. So I will definitely be on the lookout for that. I haven't found any since I found some the last time. Classic and easy to care for plant. This is a golden pothos, or Epipremnum aureum golden pothos, for $9.99. This one has some really good variegation. Now with golden pothos, if you grow it up on a totem pole or upright, the leaves will get extremely large, and I love it. Here is a Croton Petra for $9.99. I love Croton plants, but I would say Croton plants are really meant to grow outdoors in full sun. If you do that, the crotons will grow more vigorously. You will get better variegation and coloration, and it's just a beautiful plant. These can be grown more like a tree form. If you are going to grow them indoors, they need to be in a lot of light. I would say supplement it in a bright grow light. Just let it grow under there, and you should be fine. They are slightly finicky in their watering conditions. They don't want to be overwatered, but you can see here more Phalaenopsis orchids. Love that. I finally got one, a variegated Phalaenopsis orchid for $9.99 at Kroger. So it's just interesting to find plants at, you know, places you would never really think about buying plants. Like grocery stores should be the trend to look for plants. You never know, you might run into a plant that's uncommon. I remember finding an Alocasia stingray at this particular Kroger for like $13.99. And I want to show you this Schefflera, and even if this is just a green Schefflera plant, this one's for $19.99. Look at how much growth this is. I'm actually growing my variegated Schefflera out in full sun right now in a large container. I want to see if I can get it to really become a large plant. Love Schefflera plants. They're very easy to take care of as well, and especially if you're growing them outside. So a lot of my plants that I want to get really large, I'm growing outside. But you can see here many plants, and I wanted to show you this Palea peperonoides, or Chinese money tree plant, or UFO plant. This one's for $13.99. I used to have one. I need to add one to my collection, but I'm looking for a variegated version. Anyways, plant foldies, I hope you guys have enjoyed this plant shopping video. I know I wasn't able to get you any big box stores, but hopefully you've enjoyed seeing these. I am going to be on the hunt and today, tomorrow or Tuesday, to look for some more big box store plants. I'm looking for that Monstera Thai constellation. As always, if you made it this far to my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel with the notification bell on. I do daily 1-hour plant shopping videos. It would mean a lot to me. And also leave a comment in the comment section. I respond to everybody. This is Richia Growfold. I hope you guys have a good evening, and thank you for watching my video. Bye.